Salam labas kushmezian smiti Aaron. Hi guys. Okay, so today Doja is gonna get her leg amputated. So if you have been following me for a little while, you know, like I'm obsessed with cats. But they find me. And Doja was found like last month, maybe a little bit more, and she had the leg was no good, or we thought, but they wanted to see if it would heal on its own, and it didn't. And it's just becoming infected because she keeps biting at the part that hits the floor all the time. So it's just becoming infected, and it's actually just better if it's amputated. So I'm going to take her to the vet, but this video is about apartment life. And specifically, I had an incident last week. Meshi mushkil, water under the bridge. For those that know that saying, it means it's past, it's over with. But I thought it would be a good opportunity to talk about it and talk about things that I feel like are different. Maybe it's cultural, because I was told what happened was normal from a friend. So I'm curious that I tell you what happens, and I want to hear in the comments, Moroccans, Americans, anywhere, wherever you are from the world. If this happened to you, what would you have done? So stay tuned. Let's go drop Doja off. And look, all the cats are saying goodbye. This is a girl, that one. She's fixed, no babies. And this is Oscar. He's fixed, no babies. But yeah, so we're going to take Doja. We're going to take Doja to get it off. All right, guys. All right, guys. I just pulled up to the vet. Just so you know, this vet is the best vet in Tamara. I'll say Rabat because, they're amazing. It's two women doctors. They have a male helper. They both speak English. Both very personable. Great bedside manner. I'm so sorry. It's very busy. But anyway, Cabinet Veterinaire, we fuck. Amazing. You can find him on IG. So let's go get Doja her leg cut off, and then we're gonna go have some nuss, and I will spill the tea. I guess I should be drinking tea, but then I'm gonna spill the coffee on the situation at the apartment last week. Stay tuned. All right, guys. So apartment life. I don't have much experience before moving to Morocco about apartment life. When I was like 8, we lived in an apartment for like 8 months until after my parents got divorced, and then we had another house. And then also when I first got married, I had a 1-bedroom apartment, and then when I had my kid, we moved into a house. So I don't have much experience with apartments. But Meshi Mushkil, I've been here for over a year, and honestly, except for like some people telling me like I can't have a bike in the hallway even though there was washers in the hallway, or don't feed the cats, man, no problems. Everything's been okay. However, the other night, I kind of had a little bit of a run-in. And in America, I guess you would call him a Karen. I don't know. It wouldn't have been, the whole situation wouldn't have been a situation had this woman proceeded a different way. So here's what happened. Like I said, I live in a residence. So a residence is like a group of apartments, buildings, and usually they're like enclosed. So there's no gate keeping my kids in. However, there's driveways going up and then coming back down. So some of the kids are allowed to go out past the residence and play out front. My kids are allowed to too. They go the Hanut, whatever. But my kids have made friends with the kids that are inside the residence that I guess their parents don't want them to go out of the residence. And this is not a safety fact, anything, guys. It's very, very safe here, just to let you know. But they're just being cautious, which is Meshi Mushkil, as the police sirens or ambulance or something whirls in the distance. Okay, so the other night, my kids every night almost go outside and play. Jack is a nighttime person to play. Like, he will go out after 5 normally, or after 6, especially in the summer because it's very hot here, right? So all summer they've been going out there just like all the other kids, and there are parents out there with the younger kids. They all play back there. They play Kora. I'm not a fan of playing Kora back there because cars are getting hit. This is a known fact. And if you say they're not hitting the cars, you're in Delulu land, okay? Because there's no way it's not happening. Now, I have never actually personally seen anyone hit a car, but there's impossible not to hit a car. But anyway, other parents don't seem to care, so I've never put up a fight about it. You know, if I'm out there and I feel like Jack, like I see Jack with his power kick, I'm like, Jack, stop, because, you know, whatever. But they all play. They're all loud. Everyone's there. I always joke that I'm happy that my bedroom is on the inside of the residence. Like, my room is like where the middle part is, and not on the outside where all the kids play. Because believe it or not, I actually, if I'm in my room or on the other side of the apartment, I don't hear any noise. There's no noise. So I've always been happy that, like, you know, that's a joke, like mine isn't there. So anyway, the other night, the kids are playing out like usual. I did not notice the time. It was on a Saturday night. It was the first weekend. It was this past weekend. It was Saturday night. But I knew that Cameron was out there playing with her friend, because I'm in the kitchen and I could see them. You know what I mean? I see other people playing. It was like 9:30, okay? And it's Addy, very Addy here for kids to be playing out there. You could go down the street and see kids playing Cora at midnight, okay? It's very Addy. However, my kids are back in school and I do want them to stay on a schedule. So I had friends over that night and they were actually leaving, and that's when I was like, oh, I need to get Cameron. As I was going to the front door to get Cameron, Jack runs in. All right, this is where all the drama happens. Jack runs in. Mommy, this lady is not letting me shut the door. I'm like, what? Now, mind you, he never mentions anything about Cameron. He just says, I'm trying to shut this door and this lady's pushing it open and she's hurting me. I'm like, what? Where is this crazy lady coming from? Because, like, what he's describing sounds like an absolute crazy lady. Like, why would you be barging in someone's door, right? So I go to the door and this woman was holding Cameron's wrist. Like, you know, come on. I've done it with my own kids. When you're mad at them and they're not listening and you want them to go somewhere, you get them by the wrist. Meshi mushkil for me. I'm the mom. This woman, I had no clue who was. She was holding her by her arm. Cameron is silently crying. She's not making a lot of noise, but I could see the tears in her eyes and she's getting very upset and scared. But mind you, when this was happening at first, I wasn't processing all this. I am so happy that I waited until now to do the video, because honestly, if I would have done it right away, it would be more runaround than this is. I'm trying, guys. You know, I'm not a very good storyteller as far as sticking to the track, but let's get back to track. So, immediately I realized this woman speaks no English and I need my friends. My friends were already coming to the door. I'm like, guys, come on. And my friend, she comes to the door and she speaks to this woman. This woman is like screaming, you know, yelling. The gist of it was, apparently, so this woman lives on the bottom floor of the apartment, of the building, my building, but on the other side. And her bedroom window is right on the floor where everyone plays. And she has been complaining to the kids. Now, this is not just my kids. It's all the kids, okay? She apparently yells out a lot, but she doesn't speak English. And I don't know, kids are kids. And my kids never knew, I guess, what she was saying or whatever, or they dispersed. This has been happening, I guess, for a little while. I don't know. It's never been brought to my attention. For those that do know me, know that I put up with no bull crap, especially from my kids. Like, don't get me wrong, Cameron runs me through the stuff all the time. Salam. And she does. But as far as, like, listen, if my kids are actually genuinely being little shits, especially disrespectful, or, in this case, being loud when they shouldn't be, you tell me that and I will give you a front row ticket to you seeing me discipline my kids and make sure that that does not happen again. And apologies will be all around. But if you come to my door holding my daughter's wrist, making her cry, you know what I mean? It's going to be a different issue. So my friend gets to the door. Like I said, she said she found out what was going on. And okay, unfortunately, my friends, they don't like confrontation. I understand, Femtic, completely understand. I'm with you, okay? But at the same time, I needed this to be conveyed to this woman. First of all, she held my daughter's arm for a good 45 seconds while we were trying to figure out what was going on, Cameron finally just started crying, and then I took her away from her and put her in the house, and Jack was ready to scream. I was a little mad at Jack because I'm like, dude, you're complaining about some woman coming in your house, but she had your sister by the arm, and your sister was so upset, and you left her. You left her for the crazy woman. Mind you, she's not crazy. She's just a Karen. But it's just for, content purposes, So, oh my goodness. Oh my God, there's cats coming up to me and I have no food. They know, guys. These cats know. They know. They literally know. So, I'm going to walk away from that. That's too loud. Like I said, Cameron got in the house. I wanted this woman to understand that you don't put your hands on someone else's child. I understand there was an issue. Absolutely. I'm 100% with her. I would have immediately taken care of it, okay? But this woman, like, the way she went about it with putting her hand on her hand on Cameron's wrist, like, it was aggressive. It was mean. She was yelling. It was not nice. Meshi mezien. Just not a good experience at all. And my friend did kind of tell her, like, they don't do that in America. After they left, my friend said, like, it's kind of normal, Addy, to just do that. And I'm like, no. Like, there's no way. So I need to know, guys, because this actually, listen, I had another issue like maybe 4 months ago. There were some boys in my residence that were kicking the cats, specifically George and Oscar. They shouldn't be touching any cats, but because, like, I felt like, okay, they're the cats that, like, I literally had in my house. I've paid for surgeries. Like, they should be nice to these cats, right? So I didn't go up to this kid on my own and say anything, grab this kid, bring him to the parents. Guess what I did? I found out where these kids lived because I wasn't sure where they lived. And I went to the parents by myself. And I was so nice, thankfully, both parents. Well, I actually only saw one. The one parent told the other parent. But the parent that I met with actually spoke English. He was so nice about it. I just explained, I said, listen, I love cats. I love animals. And honestly, nobody should be hurting any kind of animals. And, your son has been hurting the animals. And guess what? Guess what he did like a normal person? He told his son, he corrected his son, explained to him, don't do that. Allah would not like that. You love all Allah's creatures. Mezien, perfect, great. But this woman didn't do that. She grabbed my daughter and was like, very aggressive. Not happy about it, guys. And yeah, that was what has happened. But I would love to know in the comments if this is Addy. I think it's Meshi Addy. I don't think that you should touch anywhere in the world. I don't think you should touch anybody's child. Morocco, United States, anywhere. I know it happens, obviously. It happens in the United States. People do it in the United States. But I don't know. I'm going to say something. So I did say something. Unfortunately, she didn't understand what I was saying. Hopefully my friend actually translated what I wanted her to say. But yeah, don't put your hand on my kids, guys. I don't care who you are. I don't care. You have a problem with me or my kids? Tell me. Like I said, front row tickets to you seeing that I discipline my kids. But just don't touch them. All right, guys. I still love Morocco. There's Karens everywhere. And Meshi Mushkil. Bislama.